Celine stood on the back deck of her beloved beach home, staring out at the waves as they crested onto the shore. It was a gray day, unusual for the summer here, where sunshine ruled between sudden storms that disappeared as quickly as they blew in. But the overcast sky and steel-gray water below befitted her mood. She loved this view. This is where her muses would visit her, and the words would flow, unbidden, unrestrained, and full of life. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, drawing the scents in through her nose, paying close attention to every sound, and taking note of every detail. A lone seagull crying above her, an excited dog barking in the distance, the sound of water slipping across wet sand, picking up and dropping off treasures like a child rearranging her toys, never happy with their placement on nature's playground. They all spoke to her. But it was the tide itself that spoke to her the most. The rhythm of the tide was as familiar to her as her own heartbeat. Whether it rolled evenly over the sand in a sibilant whisper that rocked the world to sleep, or pounded violently with watery fists against that same sandy shore in a tantrum befitting a Titan, she always listened to the messages the sea sent her. She rarely made the trip down to the beach anymore, but the sea didn't seem to mind. It brought bits of itself to her. Sharp breezes that stung her cheeks with silicone caresses and salty kisses. As if in answer to her thoughts, the wind picked up, setting off the wind chimes hung in a haphazard line above her head. The normally bright jingle sounded gloomy, almost melancholy, as if the sea was already mourning her loss. With a growing fury, the wind slammed into her body, pressing her shirt tight against her chest, and forcing her to dig her fingers into the railing to keep her balance. Wind-driven, her blonde hair turned into a mass of movement, whipping across her cheeks and forehead relentlessly. She accepted the stinging pain as penance for abandoning her home, but it was nothing compared to the deep ache, sharp like a razor, slicing through her already tattered heart. After today, these memories would have to be enough for her. Her eyes stung, and she pretended it was the salt air bringing the tears that threatened to run down her cheeks. A sigh escaped her. A part of her wished this farewell could wait a few more hours, until night fell. That was her favorite time to write. There was something magical about listening to the waves at night, at watching the moonlight break apart into a million bits of light that danced across liquid black, that made the sky pale in comparison. The words would practically write themselves then. Her pen dipped in that inky pool of creativity that ebbed and flowed just outside her door, inviting her soul to join in that ecstatic dance from whence all things strange and wonderful sprang from. Celine's lip twisted into a sneer. It was stupid to think this way. A last-ditch hope born of desperation would only delay the inevitable. What would make tonight any different from any other night? Celine asked herself. Just face it. You're a 40-year-old has-been. There isn't going to be any fairy tale fixes. No sudden waving of a magic wand, and you're good as new. She had to face reality, as ugly as it was. Her muses no longer called to her. Their sultry voices turned sullen, then silent, as she dealt with the pain, then the anger of her situation. Her only saving grace had been hope.